Hey guys, back again for another climbing session. Finishing up the warm up. So I got one that I've tried before. I'm hoping I can get done today. So I'm just going to finish the warm up, starting on kind of the top part. Not doing the crux move, but kind of starting from like doing that move. So like the finish point of that move and going up to the top. Definitely a little warm today and humid. So, who knows how this will go, but there's always something to learn. All right, that felt good. Rest a little bit and do it from the start. Hard to get that under clean and definitely felt slick today. Rest, try it again. Oh, that was a battle. That underclean's tough with the humidity, but I'll take that. All right, guys. So since I did that one, I've come up with a new one. I have played around with a little bit just to figure out kind of what moves I wanted. So I think I've got that figured out with the holds. I'm gonna give it a shot from the ground. So this is the first real go. Let's see what happens. And I don't think I'll change anything. I think I like the way the problem is, but we'll see what I need to learn from it. All right, I don't think I'll be able to cross through onto that wood hold. It's sloped. My foot just slipped right off. You can see the rubber on it if I got the camera closer. So I think I'll just end up switching the feet and then going up with the right hand. All right, guys, so here are the holds. So foot hold there. Hopefully you can see that kind of star. And then the green. So those are the 2 feet. Right hand's on the red. Left hand, that's an old pusher hold too, granite kind of texture. And then the left hand's on the nano hoist from Beastmaker. Going up, to the hold that I made. I was trying to cross through onto that that wood hold where you can see a little bit of the shoe rubber on it. So I don't think that's going to work. But my other feet, once I get up a little bit higher, I've got that blue and then that little purple right over there. Other hand hold is the moon hold, nice in-cut crimp. And then going up, oh sorry, did I say that's the hold I made? And then the crimp that I made, it's comfortable, I like that hold. And then I've got an intermediate here, and sorry, I've also got this foothold there at the white to go up to the intermediate there, and then up to the little yellow moon hold, and then finish on the blue in the middle. Ah! Dry fire, absolutely no chalk left. That was feeling good. All right, so I'm starting to get a little bit tired, and I've got to do weights in a little bit too. So I'm going to try that same problem. I'm going to see if I can do that move up to the crimp and the rest of it. If I can do that, then I've done the problem in 2 overlapping sections, and then next time I can try piecing things together. We'll see how it goes this time. I've got more chalk now, so hopefully it will stick long enough for me to do this and move on. A little burly. I was afraid of sliding off. I think it'll be easier instead of having right foot here and jumping if I can get the right foot up there. Like I said, today I just felt like my hands were going to slide off, so better to kind of go quickly and be done with it rather than taking that time to get the foot up and falling off again. So, all right, so that's it for today. Still have a little bit of chalk after that last one. I'm surprised because the time where I fell, I'll have to share that with the patient. She'll love it. She'll die laughing. There was no chalk left on the fingertips at all on either hand. It was just completely gone. But that's it for today. So just a couple things. One, I've got some more wood, so I'm going to try making some more wood holes and putting on the wall. There's a few places where I think I can get some stuff in. And kind of make it where there's like some slots as well, so I have to be a little more precise with the finger hand placement. And then I've got somewhere I think I can do some pinches, and I might be able to put them up towards the top of the wall, so maybe I could have like a hold on the top of it plus the pinches on the side. So it might be kind of versatile, so I'll film that too just so you guys can see it. Like I said, I don't have real fancy equipment or anything, but I really like the ones that I've made so far. And then I had a question, that's been a few weeks ago now. Is after a previous climbing session I put up where I was is that limit boulder problem and that big move to a fairly small crimp. And I was just a little scared of grabbing that crimp in case my feet cut. I'm a heavier climber. I crack up when I hear some of the other climbers talk about, like Matt Fultz. Seems like a really nice guy. You'll hear him on different podcasts, and he'll talk about being a bigger climber, and he's still weighs like 160, maybe 165 at most. I was 200 or more at that point. Been going through a fat loss phase you guys can follow along with too. So like today I'm averaging around like 195 to 196. Somewhere in that range, a little closer to 196 this week after a maintenance week. So yeah, that's a lot of weight going on to the fingers. And I just went through on that video, kind of breaking it down, making the move less, and kind of just getting my body used to doing that, seeing, my brain figuring out that, okay, no, we can do this. This is safe. And then that way it's not holding me back, because I wasn't willing to really go for the move because I was afraid of what might happen. So the question was just like, what do you do about fear mid-climb? Some of that, depends. And some of these are just tips that I found kind of helpful before. It may or may not work for you because, again, there's going to be different context to the situation, exactly what the fear is. But trying to break things down in a way, where you can make it safe. So really what I would say is, even before the climb, try to manage those things as best you can so that they don't occur mid-climb, which I know is kind of not answering the question, but I promise I'll answer the question too. So, like I did for that limit boulder problem, make the move smaller or more manageable somehow. If you've got somebody you're climbing with, a power spot, something like that, that way you can kind of learn the positions, learn different things. If the landing's bad, do what you need to make that landing better. Get more crash pads or something else. So just try to take the fear out. Yeah, I mean, luckily today, that was a decent fall, but I'm not afraid to do that move again or anything because the pads are there. I didn't get hurt or anything else. I was more surprised when it happened than anything because I just got my left hand on that crimp, thought I was good, and then gone. So, but I guess, if the fear does kind of creep in mid climb, you got to try to take your mind off of that, which is hard to do. If you're in a fear state or a stress state, it's going to be hard to think. It's going to be hard to, be logical about things, but just try to focus on what you know. And so that's where, again, kind of doing things beforehand can come in handy. So where you got the moves really practiced, the sequence really dialed, that way it is kind of more of just you're doing what your body already knows what to do rather than having to think about it like, oh, I need to do this, my foot goes here. But you know if you can think, just try to focus on what's next. Like, what do I have to do? Where should I put my foot? Where does my hand go? Trying to focus on that and really concentrate there can kind of take some of that fear away. So I hope that's a little bit helpful for you guys. I do think the mental part of climbing is probably the biggest thing for most people. Like beginners, you just got to learn how to move, and really throughout your climbing career, you got to learn how to move. How to make things easier, how to shift your body around. But I know the biggest thing for me was just changing some of the mindset. That's what led to me jumping up several grades all at once. And it was just that belief that I could do that grade. So for me in particular, like at that point, I just had the traditional 2016 moon board. No, I forgot. No, I changed it. Maybe it was the 2017. I guess it would have been 2017 with just the white and the black holds. Any yellow that were on there, if there were, I can't remember now. I don't have any of the red holds, so they weren't on there. But I just kind of had this block that I couldn't do V8. And so I was like, all right, let me look through here. Let me try to find one that kind of fits. And there was one, I don't believe it's a benchmark, or it wasn't at the time. It had some pretty big moves, but it was on pretty big holds. And I'm about 6'2", so I've got pretty long arms too, so big moves work well. I do pretty good on decent holds. It's when they get real small that it kind of gets a little bit more problematic for me. But it was a big pogo move, up to the white one it's up at the top there. Let me see if I can. So there you go. You can see that white one, kind of between the blue and the black. And so, it's kind of a flat one. And so when I would hit it, I would slide off a lot. So it took me a while to be able to do that. But I mean, once I did, like that mental side was gone. And then I went back to the 2016 set and, did several of the V8 benchmarks and other benchmarks and different things too. And so I think that mental side's what holds us back in a lot of ways. And so it can be fear of a lot of different sorts, fear of falling, fear of not being able to do something, or not looking cool, whatever. I'm sure I looked extremely cool with that fall earlier. It doesn't get any better than that. But anyway, I hope that's helpful for you guys. Like I said, I'll show you some of the wood kind of before and after, and what I do to create those holds. And then I'll try to design some problems that use those holds and see if they work. I have had some break, but I've had some of the plastic manufactured holds break too. So that just happens sometimes. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.